What's going on? This is Casey Mitchell, better known as that one-leg monster, and we are here at the Herbstrong podcast. And today we got Nick Wright here. Where are you coming from, Nick?
Rhode Island, man,
That's
northeast.
a long way.
It is a long way.
The weather here's a little bit nicer, huh?
A lot nicer. A lot
You
nicer.
guys are over there dealing with hurricanes coming up through and everything else,
and just real shitty winters. It's not fun.
Yeah, I've been out. I've never been out to Rhode Island in the winter, but I've been to New York. That's the closest I've been.
Same thing.
Miserable.
Yeah, that's
miserable.
New York all the way up through Boston. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, miserable. I'm not about that like snow in my front yard type of thing.
No, and then like you can't get parking bans. You got to move your car off the road when it snows.
Yeah,
cars get corroded from salt.
I'm good with all that.
Yeah.
So we got you here at the Herbstrong warehouse.
Yeah, the headquarters, man.
How cool is this place?
It's sick. I love it.
It's a cool
He created
spot.
like a fantasy factory here.
It's really what it is. It's I came here the first time when he was just got done building the half pipe, and now I come here. He's got rock wall, 70,000 foot drop down screen. You know,
Dude, it was like going to recess again yesterday. We spent the whole day just shooting Nerf guns and doing flips on trampolines.
Yeah. It's a good little place. He's created something pretty cool here for like all the guests and everything to come here, hang out, relax, kind of be out of like most of like I guess our atmosphere because you know, we're usually like doing like training, gym, podcasting, videoing. I mean, this kind of like let you like kind of like be a little kid,
relax,
and hang out and relax here, which is hard for a lot of us. You know?
Yes. Yep.
So what brought you here? What did the man Sawyer bring you here for?
Man, just to come hang out, get some content, just do what we're doing. I've been working with Herbstrong for like a long time. I've been using them for a long time.
Yeah.
I was using Herbstrong before it started kind of blowing up all over social media, and I've always had an awesome relationship with them. So it was just finally, it was a long time coming, and it was finally time to get us out here. And
well, and on that note, so like, how did this whole Herbstrong thing come about? You know, and also, like, you've been using Herbstrong for a long time.
Yep.
And so, how has Herbstrong and the CBD, like, just helped you, changed you? Like, how's it like help with your life, basically?
So for me, the biggest thing that drove me to it was to help with the anxiety, because I would just get anxiety randomly. Nothing would specifically cause it, and I'm a big proponent of trying to identify and like fix things on your own, not trying to sit there and like let something run your life.
Right.
But regardless, there'll be times where like, you know, if I had to travel, I don't get nervous about traveling or anything like that. It's totally random when it would come, but I would get like super anxious about different things. And it got to the point where I ended up getting prescribed Xanax just to take only as needed, just to kind of make things go smooth, rather than having to go 48 hours without sleep before I have to do a seminar or something like that.
Yeah.
And but the thing with the Xanax, the prescription stuff, is it works, you know, great when you first try it, as most pharmaceuticals do. But very quickly you get a tolerance to it. So I found very quickly it was no longer kicking in. It wasn't working that well. It wasn't curving the anxiety that well after a while. And it ended up giving me rebound anxiety. So once it wore off, I'd get way worse anxiety than I even had before. And then I had heard all about CBD. It was starting to become more and more popular. And I learned that it helped with anxiety, and it was completely natural. So there was no negative side effects to it. It wasn't going to be straining your body, liver, any of that. And I decided just to give it a shot, and I found it worked. And I liked the drops. And then I tried the vape, which I know is like a red flag these days, but it worked really well. Like I liked it, and that mixed with just mentally trying to identify and get a grip on it, because that's obviously the biggest thing with any of that.
Yeah.
But that's it. And then from there, even as I started getting a better grip on the anxiety side of things, it was just awesome in general. Like I get home from the gym, you're all pumped up, blood's flowing, adrenaline's running. You know, you take a couple of draws from the CBD pen, and you feel amazing. It relaxes
it kind of brings you down a little bit.
Yeah, it calms you down.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was how I got into it, and since then I love it for everything.
So how long have you been using CBD and Herbstrong now?
Probably like a year and a half.
So it's a long time. And you notice that you're not having to like up the dosaging.
No.
It's kind of like the same all the way through all the
Right,
time. You
yeah.
feel the same every time. And that's what I feel like is key for a lot of things. Though the one thing we don't want to do is sometimes more is not better.
Right.
And if you're having to continue to increase dosages of things, that's your body's like getting like tolerant to it, you know, and next thing you know, you're taking, 50,000 milligrams of CBD or Herbstrong, and, your pocket, your wallet's getting a little lighter and stuff like that. So that's the good thing is like, yeah, it is something that you can take, and your body doesn't really build a tolerance to it.
No, not at all. In fact, I've even, like, as I've worked to get a grip on it, and I made a whole video on this, which I think is important. As I've worked to just identify when it comes, work through, get a grip on it, not let it run your life, I've noticed that I've actually needed the CBD less and less, in the sense that it went the other way of what it's exactly what you just said. I didn't build a tolerance for it.
Right.
It works. And when I take it, it works great.
Right.
That's all I need. So now like I still use it after the gym and stuff like that. But it was exactly what you said, where I didn't need to keep upping the dose.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. You know, I don't know if you know like a lot about my past history, but you know, I was very addicted to narcotics, and in the sense of like, you know, prescription drugs from like my injuries and stuff like that. I just had to take them, and then I would notice that my body would get used to them, so I had to take more and up the dosaging. Next thing you know, you're taking all kinds of crazy shit, like a bag of Skittles, just to kill the pain, feel the high, whatever. At the time, for me, it was both. You know, I liked the way I felt because, well, that high made me basically like on cloud nine, where I didn't feel like I was in pain.
Of course.
So you know, I eventually went through a time where I nicked all of the prescription drugs in my life, like cold turkey, went off of them, and then I didn't use anything, not even ibuprofen, for basically my whole life, pretty much in the last like 9 years.
Oh wow!
And then I came along CBD. I heard CBD coming out, and I just thought honestly it was a fad.
Right.
It was like the cool thing, and I went and got some for my dad. It was the very first time that I ever got CBD, because my dad was a correctional officer, so he couldn't have anything else really. So I got him CBD to try it, you know, and honestly, it wasn't Herbstrong, because Herbstrong wasn't even, I don't even think, out yet.
Right.
But it was a CBD like cream, and he put it on his shoulders where he had surgery at, and he swore up and down. And my dad is not like a placebo type of guy.
Right.
Shit hurts, you know. And he was just like really blown away at how much it helped him. Then Herbstrong came around, and they started kind of like reaching out to me, and at the same time, I'm still in my head like it's a fad. I'm not about it. And next thing you know, I got a hold of Sawyer, and we started chatting it up, and I started just like really kind of like looking into it a little bit more, because I don't take any type of like pain meds whatsoever. And if there's a way that I can maybe relieve a little bit of pain, then that would be great, you know, because I just deal with it every day. I have chronic, you know, arthritis and bone pain and all kinds of stuff. So, he basically told me like, let us send you it. And you just, if you like it and it works, great, we'll work together. If not, then I get it, you know? And so they sent me a whole care package, and obviously I was very skeptical. I honestly, the first like few days, I didn't even like use it, because I was just like, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And then I, one day I had been training, and I kind of tweaked my knee a little bit, and it was swelling, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try that cream and just see what happens. And the amount of inflammation that went away, and the amount of like less pain that I was in the next morning, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
it works well like that.
I was really surprised. And that's what I'm saying. It really works. Like it's...
I mean, that's definitely like, that's extra reassuring. That it's not a placebo coming from you, especially.
Right. And that's what I try to tell people too, because, well, I'm not going to tell you guys to take some shit if it don't really work for me. I use it every night, and I actually go through quite a bit of it. And what I have noticed is that, like you were saying, you've noticed that you don't have to use it as much.
Right.
I noticed that my arthritis isn't as bad all the time.
Yeah.
You know, from the beginning to now, you know, but there are those times when we train hard or something like that, you know, especially for all of us, actually. I mean, more so for me, but all of us, you know, when we train the way we train, you know, you bodybuild and power lift, and, you know, bodybuilders, powerlifters, when we're training that way, it inflames our bodies.
Oh, yeah.
It inflames your bodies, your joints, your ligaments, and your muscles and everything else. And so when you can get inflammation down faster, the faster you can get inflammation down, the less pain you're going to be in the next day,
for sure,
or anything like that. So, you know, one thing that I've been doing, as soon as I get done training, I get home, part of my whole ritual is I eat, I shower, and then I rub CBD, the cream, or, you know, Sawyer got me now, which is an incredible thing. It's actually honestly stronger than the cream, is I'm actually putting the drops straight onto my skin.
Really?
And it is intense.
I've never tried that.
It's amazing.
No way.
More potent. The oil hits the body a little bit faster. And it's definitely more potent.
I definitely got to try that. I did not.
So next time you got like a little spot, put it straight on the skin. That same thing. What was funny about that is when I put this drops on my knee that night and I rubbed it in. Actually, I think I posted about it. I still got that come down to like help me go to sleep.
Oh, that's cool.
So I didn't have to like do the drops on my knee and do the drops on my mouth. It still got into my bloodstream and got into my system and helped bring me down. I still slept like as if I put the drops in my mouth, but I noticed that the pain in my knee went away instead of like the drops in my mouth.
That's super cool. Yeah. I did not know that would work.
Very cool.
Definitely try that.
Like the little 5,000 milligram one straight on the skin, rub it around. I mean, crazy. Doesn't stain, that won't stain your sheets, won't do anything, because that was one thing I was like, okay, I'm trying to sit here and air dry this thing. Right. And I was just like, you know, one day I was like lazy and I just put it on. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I probably got oil all over my bed sheets, and it doesn't do anything. It just goes away.
Oh shoot.
So you don't have to worry about sitting there like on a towel or something
That's,
weird.
man, all this time I've been using it, and I've never thought to ever try that.
Yeah.
I did use the cream. I tweaked my shoulder a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, just some wear and tear in the AC joint. I was trying to like, my best bench was 405 when I was in the 190s, and then in 2018 I did a big cut into the 170s, and I wanted to re-hit 405 again at that lighter body weight, and I did. But doing that while losing weight, body fat, and then not staying up with mobility, wore and tore on my AC joint, and then kind of put me out of benching for a little bit. But I used the cream like religiously on that shoulder every day after the gym. I put it on before bed, and it helped like tremendously and pretty fast too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'll tweak something. Shoulder, I've done the shoulder tweak and immediately rub the Herbstrong stuff on and then go to sleep, wake up, and like the amount of pain that I'm like not as much in the day before. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
And it's definitely a staple. It's like, you know, a pre-workout for me. You know, I got to take pre-workout before I go train.
Right.
Post-workout is like one of the things I like to do before I go to sleep is CBD oil, CBD cream, something like that. And I know everybody right now is probably sitting here thinking like, oh, of course, you know, you're on the Herbstrong podcast, but this is real life fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing, and if you don't believe it, try it, and then, you know, personally message my ass, you know, and be like, this shit doesn't fucking work.
You don't strike me as the type of dude who would like sugarcoat.
No, don't really fucking sugarcoat shit. You know, they're not paying me millions of dollars to take this shit. So and tell you guys a bunch of shit. But this is, you know, this isn't scripted. You know, this is real life shit that I'm telling you about that has personally worked for me.
Right.
Do I take like higher dosages of the CBD oil? Yeah, I think I take for just the way that my body is and the way it operates. I think I have to take a little bit more than most people to feel it.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be different.
Yeah, I take 1,000 milligrams, and I'll take I'll take multiple like drops of that at times and stuff like that.
See, I take multiple drops of 5,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Big.
And that's just what works for me. You know, and that's. You know, and then today you guys filmed some educational stuff when I walked in. I saw you guys were getting some stuff with that, which I think is great because the one thing I do realize is that there's not enough education on CBD. What you see is a lot of people just saying, here's CBD, it does this. Well, how the fuck does it do that?
Right.
You know
there's
what I mean?
a lot of misconceptions. Like one thing I was talking to Sawyer about that he's going to do some content on, like one big thing that came up recently is some people online, some YouTubers, just influencers in general, started trying to knock Herbstrong and CBD in general, saying that it was, you know, just hemp oil and all that.
Right.
So people aren't even aware, like hemp oil is just the umbrella term for anything derived from that plant.
Right.
It's CBD. CBD is hemp oil.
Right.
It's just if you market it as CBD, it's harder to market because of all like the laws and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, hemp oil.
Yeah.
It is CBD. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where that educational segment that you guys did today I think is going to be helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of misunderstandings.
I still to this day, I feel like CBD's been around for so long now. But it's still kind of new, really. Yeah. But the one thing you guys kind of crushed on today was like, you know, a lot of people think that they can't take it because they're going to like piss hot,
right?
Or it's or they're going to get high, and you know, and first of all, guys, marijuana is legal in California now, and in most states.
See, so, it's not for us. That's
and in most states, you know, like you can I was in Vegas and you just see people walking around smoking now. Go to concerts, you know, people are just smoking. Nobody cares anymore. It's just like one of those things. But the CBD stuff you can take. You can be a police officer. You could be a guy that works on oil rigs,
right?
And you can take this.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of stuff that you can get, you know, that you can take legally and take a piss test and, you know, and not come back hot for something that will relieve pain.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing for my dad being a correctional officer. You know, he was at first nervous, and I said, "Look, Dad, like nothing's gonna happen to you."
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So for you guys out there that are listening, realize the one thing I think is like the number one thing is that like Herbstrong CBD is not THC filled to where that's where you end up popping hot on a drug test. Yeah. This does not have THC in it.
Right. Some blends will have THC.
Some blends will. And the good thing that I like about Herbstrong is that they will put out like this. They'll show like the stats on it.
Yeah.
On like, you know, where it's like the lab that it's going through and show like it doesn't. You're fine. So don't be scared about it. You know, if you guys if you haven't tried CBD, definitely give it a whirl.
It works.
It will change your life, especially if you're dealing with like arthritis, chronic pain, anxiety, depression. I mean, sleep, if you suck at sleeping. I mean, this stuff has put me in some good REM cycle sleeps that I haven't had in a long time.
It works. And I mean, further proof that it works is like Ariana, my girlfriend, doesn't have any anxiety whatsoever, right? So One time she couldn't sleep forever, so back when I was prescribed to it, I had given her a Xanax, just to, like, I think a half of one, just to try to sleep, and it made her feel like she was on cloud nine, felt loopy. It was like a drug to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it put her out, whatever. One time I totally did the droppers wrong, and I gave her like 3 full dropperfuls instead of the actual individual drops of the CBD. And it sort of had that same sort of effect on her. She felt like she was so relaxed. She felt almost kind of loopy, like it really kicked in and hit her. We gave her too much by accident.
Yeah.
You can't overdose on it, so I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
But it was kind of funny, but it definitely was a testament that it worked. Because if it was placebo, it wouldn't have done anything.
She would have been like.
Instead, she was sitting there like sinking into the couch.
Yeah, I mean that's why I take it at night, and I really will sit there, and about 20 minutes after I take it, I really feel myself like really just kind of come down mentally. Like come down, and I feel like I just relax, and like I have, like I was explaining, earlier to somebody, I was like, like I don't have anxiety. I have like an anxiety where I'm just like ramped up.
Right.
Not like a timid anxiety. I'm just like a ramped up type person. And with my company and just everything, I got stress in there, and that stuff really puts me at a level where like I can like just take a break and relax.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys, again, if you haven't tried it, try it. It's just trying it. Yeah. And it's a lot of things. Try something for the first time, and it could obviously probably change your life. It's helped me greatly to continue doing what I'm doing, to wake up in less pain and things like that. So, but let's switch gears here. Yeah, we got you here, man. We got to know about you a little bit. We got to know something about you. I've seen you around the internet. I've seen you on the social media. I've seen you with Mark Bell recently, who's a really good friend of mine. And awesome. I did some research on you myself, and the one thing I saw is that you made a living off YouTube basically and social media, and I think that's great because I remember when I first, back in the day when Instagram first started coming out, and I started doing it, people kind of like made fun of it, talk shit on it, and then they would say like, well, how are you going to make money off social media and things like that? And it's not that you make money off social media; it's you eventually build a business around yourself.
Well, your social media following becomes that advertising platform companies have forever been paying.
Exactly.
Companies pay for billboard spots, for commercials, for magazine articles, all that. It's all advertising.
Now you can create basically your own free advertisement that you work to build. Yep. Correct. So when did you start? Like, how did this come about? Like, break us down on like this is what you do now.
Right. So I started bodybuilding when I was 14. I wanted to do my first show at 15. I was this tiny little kid, but I was just blindly delusional and confident, which was good.
Yep.
So I dove right into it. Was posting at that time only on a bodybuilding.com page. It was called Body Space. It was kind of like a MySpace, but on bodybuilding.com. But by posting on there, posting my progress, I really fell in love with the idea of sharing progress and having people follow it. And later into my teens, at about 17, I decided I wanted to become, like, one of my goals was to become, at that time, like the most well-known natural teen bodybuilder. Like, I just wanted to have some sort of like notoriety. And at this time, YouTube was still fairly new. It wasn't really a big thing yet. There was no real fitness channels. So I decided just to start posting. What originally happened is I just posted some of my contest videos, just like stage footage on there, and ignored it, just so I could go back and have it. One day I checked, and they're generated like a decent amount of views, and I was like, oh, there could be something here. I decided to start making videos on YouTube. I realized I love public speaking, and I loved sharing what I do. So I started just making interactive videos on YouTube. It was a platform bodybuilding hadn't really used very, very much at that point. And that's just kind of where it began. So in like 2009 was when I started making those videos a little bit. And I was just doing day-to-day vlogging stuff. Like, I'd work construction and landscaping, and I'd vlog like me getting my meals in on the side and prepping for shows. 2010, I made the Vault series, which a lot of people still know. That kind of like started like fitness vlogging a little bit. That's just what I've heard that from people like Christian Guzman and Matt Ogus. They've told me that's kind of like what got them into vlogging, which is cool. And then just took off from there. So then I did the bodybuilding thing into my early 20s. And then at 21, I got really bored with it, jaded with it, kind of bitter at it almost. And switched gears into powerlifting. And then did powerlifting forever. But yeah, I've just been documenting all those. Every time I have a goal, I document the journey on YouTube. I incorporate my lifestyle into it, my personality, who I am. And then, from there, you can branch off in businesses, like you said, as well as sponsorships.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the one thing, now, the social media aspect in life is kind of like saturated.
Yes.
Everybody thinks they're like, public figure. fitness athlete. And I get it. I think it's a great goal if that's what you want to do. Well, the one thing that I do notice is that, like, unfortunately, a lot of the young ones, or even some that are actually in, like when I came through here, when I came through in social media, it was already kind of going. Like I was sitting there like laying on the couch watching CT Fletcher, Dana Bailey, and them to like get pumped up to go to the gym, and I was remember watching them. Now I'm like really good friends with Dana. I'm really good friends with CT, but what happens is these people, even the ones that are in the industry now that have been here, there's some that have been here a long time. They're still just feeding off that whole like I just want to be an athlete thing.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you guys get these people that come into this realm, and they think just being a sponsored athlete is gonna like pay bills or do something down the road. And what you got to understand when you come into this like industry of like just social media, period. You got to have something that you're gonna build. You got to have some business scheme of like what you're gonna do. So it's like for me, like. I knew I came into this, I was going to do fitness. I wanted to motivate people and show people like I was here, now I'm here after all of like everything that I went through. And then I got in and then I hit another goal of like, okay, powerlifting. Okay, that's fucking cool. Let me see what I can do here. And that's really when it exploded for me, was when I started powerlifting. But at the same time, I'm sitting there putting all this cool content out, and I'm not letting myself get like blinded by just putting out cool content and getting views and likes. The goal is to like build a business around all of that. And I've been with a couple companies, supplement companies. I was with my last one for about 3 or 4 years, for a very long time with them. And at the same time, I sit there and I'm like, okay, one, this company's making a lot of money off me. Yeah. They're paying me, but they're making a lot more off me.
For sure.
2, what happens the day that I snap my knee in half or something like that, squatting, and I'm no longer able to compete or do anything that I was doing? More than likely, I can't provide what I'm going to was providing to that company, so they're more likely not going to keep you. And then what are you going to do? You have nothing to fall back on.
Or if you just, for whatever reason, want to back off on posting for like a little bit.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And so that's when I finally got to the point where I was like, all right, I got to start working on like my life. And so that's when I was like, I really enjoyed supplementation. I'm different in the industry. Like there's a lot of, I hate the fitness industry. I like fucking hate it. Yeah. And it's just a lot of fake bullshit. And the good thing for me is as I was coming through, I got around a lot of those people, and I thought that was it. Like, oh, this is, but it doesn't have to be it.
Right.
And then I've seen a lot of these fake bullshit people with their like fake cars, and they don't even own the company. There's actually like somebody else that owns the company, and they're just the face of it or some bullshit. And I was like, what is that? What is that showing? Like, it's really not showing shit, because like there's one guy that I can tell you right now, he looked like he was the most balling out ass dude ever on social media. And now it don't look like he has a goddamn thing than what he was promoting 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, what, why?
Yeah.
Well, there's reasons why, and it's just like, I didn't like that. I was like, that's basically putting up a fake front. And there's a lot of fake front in the industry, fitness industry and stuff like that. So, I wanted to create something real, true life, like supplementations that I help formulate, that I truly believe in, that I truly take on a daily.
Yeah.
And when people get them, they're like, damn, there ain't nothing out there like this. This is real shit.
Yeah, and pre-workout sounds badass.
It works pretty good. And not just that, it's just like, I didn't want to also like take everybody's money as well. So my product is actually very competitive, very competitive, actually, where other companies should be worried that these people are able to get this quality at this price. So, so back to like that, like that's just what I think, like when people come into this whole social media world, they don't have like the image down the road to, build a business around like you're doing with your social media, and like I'm trying to do with my social media. It's free markets, free advertisement, and things like that you build yourself. That's organic. You're not paying for.
Yeah, I've made that mistake too when I was younger of kind of getting complacent with just building the following and getting the sponsors. Because, when you're younger in early 20s, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You can make 15 grand in a month just off of sponsors
awesome,
and nothing else.
Absolutely.
I mean, all you have to do is work out and film it, and that's it. But then, I ended up learning through that too, because eventually I came to a point where like I lost sponsors or wanted to change gears, and the sponsors didn't want to go that direction, and suddenly I don't have that income, or you realize, oh shoot, your following can drop, views aren't what they used to be, whatever the case may be, and that's when you realize, like, oh shoot, you want a business for yourself set up, because the sponsors are like really temporary.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what you're saying is the most important thing, I think, for anyone who's getting into this. You need to get a business going for yourself.
Right.
But I think it's also important too for anyone who wants to get into this and get a business going. You need to have something that you're also passionate about focusing on first.
Right.
In other words, like I don't think it's going to backfire if your entire page is you promoting your business. Like, hey, I'm a coach. Get my coaching service. Hey, here's my supplement company. Like you got to have a passion. Be something first, whatever it is, bodybuilder, powerlifter, whatever, just inspirational, whatever your jam is, and then have businesses on top of that. So there needs to be a balance.
So if you were to give like one solid thing to tell like a young kid that's new into coming into YouTubing or social media or is thinking about coming into YouTube or social media, like what is like one thing? Because I mean, you've done a good job at this. I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have.
Yeah.
And your content's great. I've seen you film stuff for your girlfriend as well, and that looks awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's just good stuff. Like it's good quality shit, and you do it yourself. So that's what's cool about it too. So like, what is like one good thing that you could tell somebody that's either in it or like has thought about coming into this world?
You need to be passionate about something. And whatever that something is, you have to be excited to share it. That's what your focus has to be first and foremost. For example, like when I first came in, my passion was obviously bodybuilding competitively. That's what I was obsessed with. I didn't care about YouTube. I didn't care about the views. That was all just a side effect of it. I liked sharing it. I'd post whatever. I didn't care. And people will see that and that'll resonate with people when you're passionate about something. And the views will come and the support will come. And then with that, you obviously want to turn on your business mind like we just discussed. Like don't just sit there and let it pass by. Do something with it. But that passion has to come first because I can't tell you over my years how many YouTube channels I've seen try to get started. And just a month or two later when the views are not roaring and subs aren't at 100K, they just kind of fall off. They only got into it because they wanted the fame and the sponsors and the money. And you can see that too because a lot of times when people get into YouTube or social media for that reason, it shows in their content. It's kind of them just regurgitating other content that's already been done before, how to work out, whatever. There's nothing exciting there. So that's the biggest thing. If you try to focus, because you're experiencing it now, I'm sure, the social media thing's a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize it. It sounds like a cliche we say it's a full-time job, but it really is. It takes up all the editing, the filming, and then there's going to be days where like you might be tired, you might be in a bad mood, you might be feeling discouraged, not confident, whatever it may be. Maybe you're going to meet, the one-legged monster in the Herbstrong headquarters, and I'm just not feeling like myself. Like, what? I don't want to film this. I'm too nervous. Whatever. You gotta. That'll happen too. People will fall off from actually filming and producing because a lot of content creating is going to be you going out at inconvenient times, inconvenient places, and working to get this content.
Right.
So if you need to have something you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about something like I fucking love this lifestyle of lifting heavy. I love moving heavy ass weight. I know you do too. So for me, it's like this is a no brainer. I was excited to get out here, link up with someone else who does what I do, and then get after it later on in the gym and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to document that too. Like that's exciting for me. I already have a picture of how I want the video to be, what I want to show.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say. Versus somebody who's just getting into it for the views or whatever. Everyone falls in the same way. They end up realizing how much time goes into editing and filming, how often you don't feel like actually going and getting the content, and then how little reward you get for it right away.
Right.
The views don't come right away. The money doesn't come right away, and they fall right off.
Yeah.
And the content usually shows.
Yeah, that's just the grit of it, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have like that grit to like grind it out. Like the one thing the one thing that always like kind of stuck in my head at one point when I first started doing this, like social media world, was I had this guy. He passed away. A lot of people know him, but he was like, he was like kind of like he really wanted to help other people like blow up as well. His name is Rich Piana.
Okay, I love Rich.
Yeah, I was really close with Rich. I mean, I was in his wedding, and I was really close with Rich. And people have their pros and cons about Rich. That I don't, all I know is like what the things that he always like. My life's changed when he came into my life. Like,
I'm a huge Rich fan.
Yeah, he was a solid dude. He was a little out there, but he knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah,
he was out there because he knew it worked.
Yeah,
and that was his mindset. I mean, he's one of the biggest YouTube channels out there. He
huge.
One of the biggest Instagram, and one of the biggest fitness guys to ever come through. Like nobody could really touch his lines.
No.
He was impressive. But the one thing that he told me when I first like started doing this. He sat down and he said, there's other amputees out there. Like there's other amputees, so why would I want to follow you and not follow this amputee? And that goes to anybody else. Like what makes me want to follow you over this person over here?
Right.
And that's where you got to figure out who you are, what it is that you want to provide or do, and make yourself different. Don't try to follow like everybody else's bullshit that you see in the industry where you see that a lot. Everybody tries to mimic off other people, and it's like, fucking be original.
Yeah.
You might do something that turns into fucking gold. And you just don't know it because you're not allowing yourself to do that. And that was me in the beginning. I didn't know what the fuck I was. I was like, I got bodybuilding, I guess, but I'm not a bodybuilder.
Yeah, right.
I enjoy lifting. But I would go and I would get there and I'd get the pumps and I'd do all that and it just, but it wasn't like I wasn't feeling it.
For sure.
And then, I was sitting there and I'm telling Rich this and he was like, well, you really seem different when you like go heavy, when you lift heavy, like you try to push these limits, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, that's what you need to do. He goes, oh, you need to like get as big as you fucking can, lift as heavy as much weight as you can, grow your fucking beard out, shape. I had like a kind of like a mohawk, but not skinned. Yeah. He's like, skin your fucking head, do your fucking mohawk like you've been talking, because I've been talking about doing it.
Oh yeah.
And I just hadn't done it. I was just like, I don't know.
Right.
And then I was like, and he's like, you gotta create this person that you want to be. Like, allow that person to fucking come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, one day I was just like, fuck it, and I did, and things started going a different way, and then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I want to leave 5% and do my own thing and become my own person. He was like, fucking A, let's, do it. You need to, and that's when I really started to figure out like what it is that I wanted to do. Really, and pursue like what it is, and like you, I literally didn't care about views and likes. I still don't to this day. I don't give a fuck. I think I posted a kid playing this badass guitar the other day because he was fucking ripping on it, and I love metal music. And I was like, this 15-year-old kid is ripping this guitar. I'm posting it because it's epic to see a 15-year-old doing this shit.
Right.
I don't care if he gets anything off of it. It actually ended up doing well, but I just literally post. I literally set my phone up. And I take videos of my best lifts or something of the day that I do that day, and I post it, and that's it.
And that ties into being focused on one specific passion and direction.
Yeah, just powerlifting is most of my
and
my
being
game.
yourself goes in with that too. You know who you are now, and you know what you're into.
Yeah.
So because on the other side of that, because I've been in it for so long, so I've had ups and downs.
Yeah.
And my people will probably remember that I've done videos before where I was in like a lull, like a crossroads, and I didn't know where I was going, who I was. Just a weird transitional time. And I remember doing a video talking about getting frustrated because views weren't like what they used to be or something like that. I was focusing more on them.
Yeah.
And then I went and did this bodybuilding show for the first time in 7 years, stepped out of retirement just to retire altogether, my last show. But fell in love with that, and then fell in love with putting the content out again, and got back into not caring about the views again, and it went better than ever.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? Honestly, man, all of us that you guys see on camera, we go through some shit. Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty much like one of the most motivated dudes around. Like I've been through some shit down at the low, but even then I get like, I have days where I don't want to do it. I was telling you about the working out the other day. I didn't want to fucking work out, but you got to. Yeah. And then I went like about a year ago, I went through a real crazy divorce, and I was really like down, depressed. Wasn't really lifting much. Bought a Hellcat car just to have something to do, to tinker around with and build on and work on and get into this whole different underground car racing scene, because I was just like in this weird zone.
Yeah.
And luckily it's like the people knew that I was kind of like going through that, and they were like, they kind of stuck around, and then I eventually came out of that, and we go through that. But at the same time, when you guys are going through that, they have to realize that, if you're going to do this, and this is your full-time job, this is your full fucking time job. And luckily at that time I was with a really decent supplement company, because I wasn't really lifting and I really wasn't posting shit, and they were still paying me, and I wasn't making sales, but they knew that I was just going through some shit. But one day, the vice president, we talked on the phone, and his thing was like, dude, this is your job.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that. Like, what if you were working a fucking 8 to 5? What are you gonna not go to work today?
Yeah.
You're just gonna call in and get paid?
It's crazy how easy it is to forget that.
It is,
too.
yeah, and that's what a lot of people do, is they fucking forget that, once you're doing this, like, every day you gotta wake up and fucking work. Yeah, we do have the luxury to be like, you know what, today I'm gonna go ahead and go to the fucking beach with my lady, or we're gonna go do some shit. But even then, a lot of times when we just say we're gonna do that, we're usually capturing some cool fucking shit, or we're still somewhat working, and especially for me, I know I'm like that.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
I'll say like, oh, I'm gonna go on vacation or something like that. And even on vacation, I'm still posting my vacation on my social media.
Always.
You know what I mean? So, because people want to know, that's what it is. It's like, your life is out there now. And so, that's the one thing I think, a very important thing is, if you, do come into this like whole world, is one, find out who you are, what you're passionate about, and realize that this is your fucking job now, if this is what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's like a major thing that every day you got to fucking work.
And I can't stress that enough, but what you said was perfect about being yourself and not following the trend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So huge in fitness. I'm sure it's huge in everything,
Yeah.
but you see it so much in
Yeah.
fitness. You know, everyone wants that when Christian Guzman blows up,
Yeah.
everyone wants to start rocking his style.
Yeah.
Rich Piana, everyone wants to start doing the
Yeah.
5% style.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's cool to take little bits of inspiration from someone who inspires you.
Right.
But definitely put your own spin on it. Everyone who's
Yeah.
ever done well has done it by being themselves. 110%. I mean,
Yeah.
you are very clearly your own self.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I don't really feel like I'm in the fitness industry. Like I'm here. Like,
yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Like
fit
I
your own
like
bill,
yeah,
100%.
like I don't like a lot of fucking fitness industry people. I like a select few that I
Yeah.
feel like are real like me. You know, Rob and Dana, they're different.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I love Rob. Rob's
they've
awesome.
stuck their own lane, you know, kind of
Yeah.
a thing, you know. And then you got like guys like Andy Frisella. He's not really he's in the fitness industry, but he's a major entrepreneur, and he's kind of like defined. He's like everything that everybody would say don't do, he kind of has done, like the podcasting, the way he talks, the way he approaches things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like used to frown upon that. Now it's one of the biggest podcasts out there. He's one of the most successful men out there in this somewhat industry, I guess. I mean, he is in the fitness industry. He owns First Form, but like he's not in the fitness industry. You know what I mean? He's got his hands in. He's in a lot of industries. You know.
diversified.
So I'm just like, that was one thing that I just told myself is like, I'm not gonna fucking be somebody else that I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you want to follow me, cool. Like
Exactly.
I'm not gonna put up a front. Like I drink whiskey. I like to eat normal ass food. I'm not gonna sit here and be that guy tell you to eat chicken and fucking rice every day. I'm just not, because I don't. I don't. But I have like balance. Yeah, I have balance in my life. But yeah, just be yourself, man. Like I said, I remember the very first time, speaking of Christian Guzman, when he came through, and he was like, there was like nothing there. It's just like. I remember seeing the apparel and the Alpha or whatever. What's his brand?
Alpha League.
Alpha League. Yeah, I remember seeing that. And then there was this other big time YouTuber guy that was like running this Alpha style, and I was friends with at the time. And he was like, "Look at this fucking shit. Look at these skinny little fucking guys. What the fuck do they know about being alphas?" Well, that motherfucker's an alpha now because he dominates the industry.
Yeah.
And the guy that was talking the shit, his alpha shit is pretty much a wash.
Yeah.
It's gone. And I sit there and I look back and I always remember that because I was friends with this guy. And he was like an alpha dominant type of person.
Yep.
And Christian does Christian look like an alpha dominant type? No, he don't look it, but that fucking brain is alpha.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that's okay to have an alpha brain over an alpha body. Honestly, I would go with the alpha brain over the body
100%.
every fucking day.
And I mean, the other aspects of being alpha is simply just being unapologetically yourself, confident in being a leader, which Christian also is.
Which absolutely. And that's one thing that has stuck with me to this whole time was that one little thing. It was like this guy pissed about this dude running this alpha thing and then talking shit based on the way he looks.
Would I know him? Is he still around?
He mingles. He looks bigger than what he is on social media, from what I've noticed lately, And like I said, it just kind of that sticks with me all the time. Is just like, like that. Like, don't be this guy. Be this guy. Just stay in your lane. Do your shit. And all these guys down here like. I was telling you about somebody copying my labels just recently, the supplements, they're a bigger company than me. This guy at the time was bigger than Christian, and the roles change.
Yeah.
And I stick that in my head. As much as it pisses me off, I want to call him out. Christian never called out anybody ever.
Right.
And this guy was like sending people over to his page talking shit. He was even talking shit to him on his page. And I don't think Christian even responded back ever.
No.
You don't have to respond back.
Never respond back.
Respond back with your success, and and that's what I mean. Literally now Christian can go to a fucking expo and he'll have a 6-7 hour fucking wait just to see his ass. Worldwide, international guy, and that's just something, like, is Christian like my type of realm of person? No. Is his apparel my type? No. But I fucking follow Christian strictly because of like what he's like accomplished in his life, and I think he's very smart.
Yes.
And so so when you guys when you guys come into this like realm, I just think like just be yourself, man. Be passionate about what it is that you are doing and like who you are. And you might strike some gold just like Christian did, man, and might bring something to the table that everybody's kind of been like, oh,
yeah,
damn, this is different. And I like it. You can create a fad.
100%. You got to be patient too.
Yeah,
so that's the other thing I've seen too. People, and I've been guilty of this myself, but you'll see that people, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing, stay in my own lane. But suddenly the views aren't blowing up. You're not going viral yet. Because it takes time.
Yeah.
And you look over, you're like, well, Christian's doing this. Maybe I got to do more his style, or so-and-so's doing this. And then you start to try to segue. But that's don't want to do that.
No, absolutely. And I I'm guilty of that. Honestly, like there was a company that I was with, a apparel company I was with, and I saw like they were blowing up doing what they were doing. And then when I left them, I was like, I'm going to do that shit.
Yeah.
And I started doing it. And then, like, honestly, just the other day, 2 days ago, I was in my storage unit just pulling out a bunch of shit on my storage, like Halloween shit. And there's those boxes of shirts of the company that I tried to mimic one time, of my shirts. Money lost. Because instead of doing, like, what it is that's me, you know, I was trying to mimic this other company. And honestly, it probably looked like I was mimicking them too, you know. And at the time, I didn't think of it as I was. But now I look back on it, I was like, I was just trying to do what they were doing and trying to make bread off their own shit.
Yep.
Now I don't. Now, like, you know, I do my shit.
For sure.
I put out my own shit, and it's like, yeah, either they buy it or they don't, you know. But at least I know it's mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it obviously it gets better and better over time. Like, just takes time.
Yeah, it does. It
takes
does.
time.
It's weird. You almost like have to like learn who you are and how to be you.
Yeah, absolutely.
As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, this is that one-leg monster. Nick, thank you for coming. Where can everybody find you at?
YouTube.com/Nick Wright, and then at Nick Wright NWB on both Instagram and Twitter.
All right, again, this is that one-leg monster. We are here at the Herbstrong podcast. Tune in. We got more coming. Just so you guys know, I'm now the new host of the Herbstrong podcasting. I will be hosting everybody that comes through here. You guys can easily DM me, DM Herbstrong, DM Sawyer. If you guys got questions, concerns, people that you want to see coming up down the road. This is that one-leg monster, and we are out of here.
Peace.